Stop. You. Yes, you. I can see you. I know how your brains work. I know that you've clicked on this video and are straight away going to go in my comment section and type an interesting opinion. And as I say every time on this channel, I am more than down for respectful opinions. And you are more than welcome to disagree with me on this video, and I will listen and read and likely respond to all of your comments. But please, if you're going to comment, watch this whole video, hear what I have to say, and then we can have a fun debate about it. Because we all know RTD2 has had a lot of people complaining about it for many different reasons. Russell T Davies can't write like he used to. Ooh, the show's gone too woke. The series is only 8 episodes. We need 27 episodes. Ncuti cries too much. By the way, before you all comment, yes, I agree, I'd like more than 8 episodes a season. I just fancy doing a bit. But the one I want to focus on in this video is this idea that Ncuti cries too much. Because honestly, if we're going to have an honest chat about this, at first I agreed with you. It didn't bother me as much as it seemed to bother a lot of people. But yes, in that first series, every episode, certainly the episodes where they weren't Dr. Light episodes, Ncuti did cry quite a lot in each of those episodes. And I believe people responded to this negatively for a couple of reasons. Reason number 1. This one is the category with, I think, the least amount of people in it, but some people just genuinely don't like their lead characters to cry in the media they consume. Our lead character is supposed to be stoic and facing the battle and facing the adventure, so they shouldn't be crying, they should be stoic and they should be dealing with the situation. Reason number 2. Now some people, and I'd say this is the bigger group, don't like the fact that this doctor cries specifically a lot more than other doctors. Let's put all our cards on the table here. Ncuti's doctor cries a lot more than any other doctors. Certainly if you take away Dr. Light episodes, I think I was tempted to go back and do a quick check, but that's a lot of work for a video. And I will be completely open and honest here and say Ncuti cries in pretty much every episode. Now here is my defense of that, because as I've alluded to, I genuinely don't think Ncuti cries too much. Firstly, some people use the Ncuti cries too much thing as a stick to beat Russell with. And according to quotes, that isn't fair. I'll link the article below, but Russell says it's actually usually Ncuti's decision to cry. Russell even states something along the lines of, you don't tell Ncuti to laugh, you don't tell Ncuti to cry. It's Ncuti's decision on how he reacts as the Doctor, and that's his decision, that's not Russell's decision. And first of all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna continue to justify it, but I think to a certain extent, that justifies it within itself. Because a lot of you aren't actors, but even if you are, I don't personally think you have the rights to tell Ncuti how to play his own Doctor more than Ncuti does. If that's Ncuti's decision on how he wants to portray his style of Doctor, he's got to be allowed to do that. It's one of the reasons why I genuinely don't buy into the whole he cries more than other Doctors. I've slightly phrased that wrong because I do buy into that fact. He does cry more than other Doctors. But isn't that what we love about the Doctor as a character? The Doctor, with the power to regenerate, changes their body, but also kind of facets of their personality. Each Doctor has different facets of their personality. But this brings us on to the real conversation and why it's interesting. However controversially, the Ncuti Gatwa Doctor was created by the Bi-Generation. If you're confused, the stuff in the giggle where David Tennant, Ncuti Gatwa, woo! God, I should be an animator. That was class. And at the end of the giggle, the idea was David Tennant's 14th Doctor needed to take some time, to take a break, and to help heal himself. And then the 15th Doctor has already kind of done that healing work, because he was once David and did the healing work, if that makes sense. Now, some of you will be very confused. You'll say, well, if Ncuti's done the healing work, why is he crying all the time? But the problem is, and some of you won't like me saying this because, I don't know, maybe you are uncomfortable with these ideas, or unfortunately maybe you don't subscribe to these kind of ideas, but I think a lot of it is wrapped up in interesting thoughts around toxic masculinity. Let's go to one of my other points to contextualise this. Ncuti is never crying at something that he shouldn't be crying about. Take the recent case of Sasha 55. Now, people can argue, I've made a video on this and I've shared my own thoughts about this, but people can argue about whether Sasha 55 is a character and how little we knew her, so how much her death impacts us. People can argue that to death's door about how well that was done, how effective it was done. But anyone can take a step back and go, the Doctor's friend that he has known for 6 months has died. The Doctor is going to cry about that. Like I said, you can argue how that affects us from our perspective, and that's how well that was done on a story perspective, but you can't argue that isn't a valid reason for Gatwa's Doctor to cry. Especially in Series 1, it takes place over a vast amount of time, but we, as the audience, are being shown the most intense, the most gripping, depends on the episode, but the most scary, interesting of adventures. The Doctor and Ruby are going about exploring things, maybe having less dramatic adventures along the way. Hence, that's where the tears come, in those heightened, scary, emotional moments. I mean, people criticise the Doctor for crying in the middle of Empire of Death when the God of Death has killed most of the universe. That's pretty sad. Which brings us back round to the full point of, well, other Doctors didn't cry, or at least they didn't cry often. They didn't, but we as fans can't have our cake and eat it. Some people have criticised moments such as lines like "I'm the last of the Time Lords" and the kind of like Ncuti versus Ncuti battle we had in Joy to the World, where, talking about them being all alone and stuff. And fans have stated that if Ncuti did so much work as David on himself, I really should use 15 and 14 for this example. If 14 did the work, took the time off, worked on himself, surely 15 shouldn't go through these moments. But that shows a complete lack of understanding for how mental health works. You still go through things, you still find problems in your life, you still have things in the world that annoy you. But the change, the interesting, lovely, beautiful human change that we see is Ncuti is much more emotionally available and open and raw. That's what that time of rest was for. To, be connected to your feelings. Allow yourself to feel those things. In Wild Blue Yonder, we literally get a scene of David having held everything in, finally opening up to Donna, and it's this really difficult, hard thing for him to do. Yet Gatwa's Doctor, for the most part, can speak through his emotions. That's the development we've had from 14. That's why Ncuti cries, and I think it's beautiful. Now, even though I did that intro at the start, there's gonna be some people that will disagree, and that's chill. The game's the game, I get it, no worries. But if we fancy having any respectful debates, if you agree, if you disagree, we can talk about it, because, I think this has been a fun video, because we've managed to talk about, some mental health stuff that is always, I find it very important to, keep that as a lovely, open, honest conversation, but also some fun Doctor Who lore stuff and the character development of the Doctor. I've enjoyed making this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Let's have some fun debates. Give me a like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a friend. Let's grow the channel a little bit. As you can see, I've been uploading quite a lot recently because I've been having fun with the channel, and it's been nice to see it bloom and grow a little bit. So yeah, do all that stuff. I need a funky outro. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box. Shouldn't have winked at the end. I embarrassed myself.